Would you guys like me to go over injuries for you? Because you probably haven't heard that. And I'll just tell you the guys that were out. Connor Bradford is out with a foot, and he will not practice during the spring. Luke Gagne, he's got a sports hernia. He'll be out for the spring. Todd Golfer will be out for the spring with a knee. Chris Ward with a knee. Will Oliver with a shoulder. And then Dietrich with his neck. So those guys will not participate in spring ball. So that's 6 guys, and those are all injuries, I believe, that are carryovers. They're all doing a nice job recovering. Obviously, Luke's wasn't. That's recent, but you know, unfortunately, they won't be with us. And then we've got some guys that are limited in what they can do. They can participate in part of practice, but not the full thing. Alice Mascarenos is. We're still being very precautionary with regards to the head. Same with Wade Yandel. And then we had some guys that practiced that I didn't know that they would or wouldn't. Ricky practiced and Jake Brendel, so that was good. So we're off to a good start. A lot of enthusiasm, a lot of good things, a lot of things that we have to correct, obviously. But it's a start, and I was pleased with their effort. I'm pleased with their attitude, but we've got, like I told them, we've got a million miles to go to become the football team that we will become, need to become, and desire becoming. So, any questions?
How'd they pick up the tempo today?
It was okay. It was okay. It was a first day. You know, I thought it got better as the practice went along. I thought the second team period was a lot better than the first team period. You know, I think Thursday when you come out here, it'll be a much different practice. They'll understand how we want to operate, how we want to move from drill to drill. You saw me bring them back a couple times when they didn't run the way I want them to run, things like that. But they're very, very willing. Very, very, very willing group of young men, and that's the most encouraging part of this whole day.
How does it feel being back out there on the football field?
You know what? It's been 2 years and 3 months since I've coached been on the practice field, and it was great. I couldn't stop smiling. I mean, it's what I've done my entire life, and it felt good to be back out there.
How's that throwing arm? It looked like that was a little rusty there.
You know what? I had a couple good balls, and then I had some real bad ones, man. My consistency needs a little work. We'll get it back in shape, though.
How about from the quarterback position?
You know, it's hard for me off of one day to judge anything. I mean, just like for the players, for me, things were going fast. And, you know, I'm going to give you the old standard coach speak answer. I need to look at the film, you know. But the one thing I don't think is going to be appropriate for me to do is come off the field every day and evaluate the quarterbacks on a daily basis with the media. I think what's important is that we just let it happen, you know. And like I said, we need to be patient, but we need to push it at the same time. So I'm not gonna come off the field every day saying, oh, it's this guy, it's that. You know, I'm gonna just let it develop naturally.
How did it feel with the new staff? Just first day out there, how you guys jive together? How'd that feel?
You know what? Better than I thought it would. I told my wife yesterday, as a matter of fact, that this is the first time in, well, goodness, ever since I was a head coach that I haven't had anyone on my staff that I've really coached with before. I coached Jeff Olbrich. Actually, I coached with Eric Yarber for a year, but when I was a head coach. So this was the first time that, you know, I had a group of guys that were kind of new together, and it was okay. I mean, we've got work to do. I've got a list of notes for our first staff meeting tomorrow morning, or our staff meeting tomorrow morning. But we're going to be all right.
Jim, you said you expected a physical spring. That you weren't even in pads. It's pretty physical.
Yeah, but we have to be careful. We have to be careful because you have to learn how to practice fast in pads and still stay healthy and stay safe and take care of each other. And we'll do that. I expected the first day, even as much as I stressed, staying up, staying away from the quarterback, keeping your shoulders out of things, letting the runner run. I anticipated, because of the excitement of it being the first day, that it would probably be a little bit more physical than I wanted when we're not in pads. But that's another thing that we'll get corrected, we'll get better at. I mean, the defensive side of me loves it. The head coach part of me gets nervous about it. So.
How about the 4 or 5 fights? You like that energy?
No, I don't like fights in practice. And you know what? I wouldn't call those fights. Those were little scuffles. They were dust-ups.
There you go.
And we will discourage that. You know, we're going to be out here competing our tails off and going after each other. But, you know, part of being a disciplined football team is being able to pull yourself back. You know, when somebody's getting in your grill. And that's something we have to learn to do better, and it'll be addressed tomorrow. And, you know, I'm sure You know, over the course of 15 practices, you know, you're hammering on each other, and you don't get this. It's not like you're playing an opponent. It's the same guy day in and day out. There'll probably be some dust-ups, but we'll do the best we can of staying away from fights.
It seemed like there was an emphasis on stripping the football.
It's all about the ball. It's all about the ball. He who has the ball wins. So defensively, it's about taking it away, and offensively, it's about owning it. So that'll always be an emphasis for us.
Dolphins seem pretty natural. Running back, you seem like he's.
I would, you know, without looking at the film, he caught my eye a couple times as well. You know, his lateral movement looked good. Did you notice that? There was a run there towards the end when he cut back to the right. But you know, it all changes when you put the pads on now. You know what I mean? This whole world changes, so we'll see. But it was encouraging.
Stephen, man,
Leadership coaches, is there somebody that you're looking for, someone that you've become familiar with in your short time that you hope emerges?
Not yet. You know, I think that'll develop over the course of the next 34 days. You know, those guys will reveal themselves to me, to their teammates. You know, you're looking for natural leaders, guys that their teammates just gravitate towards naturally. You know, you're not looking for guys that are forced leaders. And I think that we'll identify those guys in the next, hopefully, you know, over the next 30 days.
Impressions on Jonathan Franklin?
Well, I think Jonathan, you know, you're talking about leadership. Jonathan has natural leadership ability because he's such a fine young man. You know, I mean, he's an outstanding football player, but he's from, and I've only known him 3 months, but he's an even better person. You know, he's the kind of kid that you want your kid to grow up to be like, you know. But that's my impressions. What's important is that his teammates see him as a leader, and I can't answer that question yet.
In regards to the quarterback spot, I mean, how are you going to divvy up the reps in the spring?
You know, day to day, it'll be something that we talk about coming out before practice. You know, who we're going to emphasize reps with this today. It'll never be exactly even. It'll never be the same. You know, so I really can't give you a clear answer other than to say it'll change every day.
Will it change based on performance?
No, it'll just change based on what we want to emphasize or who we need to see a little bit more of. Or what, you know, you go up and you watch the film and you put guys in situations where you can evaluate them. And if we get, you know, down the line a couple of days and we haven't seen a player in a certain position where we can make an evaluation, then we have to create that situation for them. So that's what we try to do with reps with the quarterback. Does that make sense?
Stephen Manfro get hurt?
I don't know
Went
who
into the
got
shed.
hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's
Did he?
okay.
You tell me.
Yeah, I think he went into the shed.
Did he? Okay. Anything else? All right. Hey, thanks. Sorry to make you wait.
No problem.